Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mo and this is my first YouTube video for 2022. This is my new working from home setup. Now because of COVID, I find myself working from home more and more, so I decided to change my current setup and make it more work focused, more productive. I want to take you through all the changes. So let's jump straight in. Now before I discuss some of the items in more detail, I want to quickly just list the main things that make up my setup. The main focal point now is the LG UltraWide. I have a touchscreen, the same desk and the standing frame, the Razer Ikea chair, the Grove-made monitor riser, the NuPhy tube clock, the Edifier speakers, a pair of Master and Dynamic headphones, the Amazon Echo Show 8, Rode Procaster mic and boom arm, my HP work laptop, a Minimalist Desk Pad, NuPhy Air 75 keyboard, MX Master 3 mouse, Carpio 2.0 wrist rest, and the BenQ Halo light. So these are the main items that make up my setup. So what's changed? Well, this is my setup previously. This is what it used to look like. It used to be cluttered. I had a lot of items on my desk everywhere. It used to give me less space to basically work comfortably. Now it's less cluttered, it feels nicer, and I have more space to work comfortably. Now I've kept the same desk and standing frame. If like me you work from home, I would highly recommend you get a standing frame. It's fantastic. If not anything, it reminds you to actually just stand up, once in a while instead of just being, seated all the time. Now having made the changes, my desk feels so much clutter-free and it gives me so much more space. Now as I've just said, the main focal point of the new setup is the LG UltraWide. And the UltraWide is fantastic for work. I have the LG 34UC99, which is a 34-inch curved ultra-wide screen, and it's brilliant. I've had it for 2 years and it still looks fantastic. Previously, I had it clamped to my desk with a monitor arm. However, I've now gone back to using the original stand and it's now sitting on the Grove-made monitor riser, and it looks fantastic. In fact, if you're just standing back a bit, you can't even tell it's the original stand. Now, if like me you want a double screen setup but you lack the space, then I'd highly recommend getting one of these screens. It looks like a tablet or an iPad, but it's essentially another monitor. It connects either via a mini HDMI or USB-C, and it's also a touchscreen, which means you can play touch-based games like I'm doing here, playing Fruit Ninja. It's surprisingly responsive. Now, a second screen is really useful, not only for work, but for other things such as video editing and photography. This one is made by a company called Vissels, but honestly there are dozens that are similar from Amazon. I now have a new keyboard. This is the NuPhy Air 75. It's a 75% mechanical keyboard that has low profile gate-run switches and low profile keycaps. The version that I have has brown switches, it's wireless, it's got fantastic RGB, and honestly it's lovely to type with. Now if you go to my YouTube channel, I've done a full review on it, so if you want to have a look, I will link it up on the screen. I have a new Minimalist Desk Pad. This one is from Etsy. It's from a seller called AEX Supply. They're also available on Instagram, so go and check them out. It's got this lovely felt top and a non-slip base. Now if you've seen my previous video, you may have seen this item before, but this one is version 2. This is the Carpio 2.0 from Delta Hub. It's a much improved version of the original wrist rest. It's got a redesigned base which makes it much more smooth and easy to glide. You can see the difference between the version 1 and version 2 here. Now in a minute I'm going to show you a scientific test. I'm going to flick them both on the desk pad and you can see how the second version just smoothly glides across, while the first version doesn't even make it past the mouse. The Carpio 2.0 is an improved version of the original. It glides so easily now, and the rubber pads are softer and more comfortable. Now, every good home work setup needs good lighting. Unfortunately, the lighting in my room is rather poor, so I use this BenQ Halo light bar. It comes with a wireless controller. The wireless controller lets you control not only the light but also the color temperature. Now, this is the Halo version because it has a second light at the rear. So you've got the main light which fires down, and there's a second one which is like an ambient light that fires behind the monitor. I would highly recommend one of these lights. It makes a massive difference to the desk. Okay, so far we've covered some of the larger items that make up the setup. I'm now going to take you through the more smaller items on the desk and just briefly show you each one. Let's start with the monitor riser and the valet tray. The Grove-made monitor riser or shelf is 46 inches wide and can hold approximately 50 pounds. Grove-made also sell this optional tray for all your daily essentials. The wooden valet tray is from Etsy from AEX Supply. Next we have the Edifier speakers. The Edifier 1380 dB speakers are my current favourite speakers. They're Bluetooth, they look fantastic for bookshelf speakers, and they sound great as well. Next we have the Master Dynamic headphones. The MW60 from Master Dynamic is a beautiful pair of headphones. Finished in brown leather with brushed metal, it looks absolutely stunning. It sounds amazing as well. Next we have the Nixie tube clock and a rectangular walnut wooden tray. This rectangular wooden tray has a non-slip base, is perfect for things like loose change. I use it to store 2 daily essentials, a pair of earphones, these are the Z1 Pro from Padmate, and my Apple Watch Series 6 with the Nomad titanium band. Next we have the Xbox Halo Infinite controller. This is a special edition Halo Infinite Elite Series 2 controller for the Xbox Series X. It's absolutely beautiful. Next we have the Amazon Echo Show 8. Alexa controls all the lights in my office, and I use the Echo Show to listen to radio, music, TV shows, Netflix, Amazon Prime. It's extremely handy. Every home setup needs a good microphone, and you really can't get any better than Rode. These are perfect for any work conferencing calls, video calls. You really can't get any better than Rode. Now for filing and storage, I'm still using the Ikea Alex drawers. I know these are literally everywhere and every desk setup has them, but for good reasons. These are still fantastic. I have the top drawer organized for all my daily essentials and a range of home tools in the second drawer. I have a shelving unit on the right hand side, and I've now wired my work IP phone behind the unit so it's neatly stored on the shelf. Now my work issued HP ProBook laptop is now stored underneath my desk on top of the Alex drawer, and it connects to the UltraWide using one single USB-C cable, which provides both power and data. All of the ports are still easily accessible, and it just looks really neat and tidy. I've programmed the desk so even at its lowest position it does not crush the laptop. And honestly, it just looks really neat and tidy, and it's just stored out of the way. Now for the chair, I'm still using the Razer Ikea. Why? Because this is the best chair in my opinion out there. I've tried about 4 other chairs since having the Razer, and honestly none of them match the quality or the comfort of the Razer Ikea. I think the only chair that would beat the Razer is perhaps another Razer, so I'll be showing the Razer Enki chair in the upcoming videos, so stay tuned. Well folks, we've come to the end of the video. It's been a pleasure as always. I hope you found this video interesting and helpful. Any questions, leave them in the comments and I will do my best to come back to you. See you in the next one. Take care. Before we finish folks, I want to just talk about cable management, specifically how I manage the cables in my setup. Now since my last room tour, I've had a ton of questions regarding how I manage my cables and how my PC is so far away from my desk. So all the cables that come out of my PC, they're tied up using Velcro pads and they go into a hole that's drilled on the shelving unit behind the actual PC case. The cables inside the actual shelving unit then travel underneath it and they exit in a corner over here, and then they're sort of bunched up, and I've used some pipe insulation just for no apparent reason to actually take them through the back of the Alex drawer. At this point there is a lot of excess cables, so I use a plastic box to try and store as much of that as possible, just to keep things a little neat and tidy. There is going to be excess cables, unfortunately I can't help that. Now behind the Alex drawer I have a switch attached to the unit, and again there's a lot more excess cables there. Now this is the underside of my desk above the Alex drawer, and you can see plastic trunking that I use. The trunking is really easy to just snap off and snap on, and it makes hiding cables really easy. Now on the other side of the desk, on the left hand side, I have USB hubs as well as rubber cable grippers, and they basically are really easy to help manage all the cables in place. And then along the bottom of the wall I have more plastic trunking which houses mains electrical power cables. And on the left hand side corner I have an even larger plastic box with more excess cables and power extension leads and so forth. Now this isn't perfect, but it works for me. Okay, so now we really have reached the end. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video useful. If you've enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. See you next time.